Today we finally got some good weather here in Frankfurt and I decided to come out and shoot a few hyperlapses, but not traditional hyperlapse where you move your tripod every few minutes and take one shot and then combine it to make it one video, but rather to shoot real-time footage and then speed it up in post. So why am I using this setup? Well, first off, the Fuji X-H1 has IBIS, its internal image stabilization. Then we got the optical image stabilization from the lens as well. And of course we got the 3-axis stabilization from this gimbal, the Feiyutech A2000. The reason why I chose this gimbal is not because it's the cheapest or the best on the market, but it's specifically because I want to be able to use both hands to hold the gimbal properly. And while a lot of gimbals actually have the option to mount dual handles, I like this specifically because the dual handle, or to be precise, the control here, is connected to the gimbal itself. And as you can see, there's not a long grip here where you usually would hold on. It's taken out and there are some electronic contacts down here, so you can detach the one handle and connect it to the dual handle. And I think it's pretty useful, especially if you walk around like this. You can easily control here with the joystick, you can control all the options. I can change the mode, so that's pretty useful. It's now in follow mode, which means if I turn it to the right side, the camera is also going to pan to the right side. But if I want to lock it, I'll just press it 4 times, the mode button. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it should stay locked. As you can see, the angle is still the same, even if I move it around. Not an issue, so that's pretty cool. And in most cases I'm still able to actually see the screen, which is often an issue, but with this gimbal, especially if I don't hold it too high or too low, it's not an issue. Usually I'm not a big fan of just shooting real-time video, then speeding it up in post and calling it a time-lapse or hyperlapse. I rather shoot raw photos and then combining it into a sequence because it gives me much more flexibility in post. I can also do long exposures, which is obviously not possible with this setup, but it's specifically for a client. So I did some testing today just to see, is it actually possible to shoot rather real time? The movement that is happening in real time is not very fast, it's rather slow. So we can speed it up in post and try to create a nice hyperlapse effect just following certain people around, for example. When it comes to post-production, there's not that much to do except grading the log footage, which is pretty easy. The bitrate is 200 Mbps and 4K, so that should be fine overall. Of course, it's not as good as when shooting raw photos in 6K, but I think that should be fine overall. Hopefully there are no stabilization issues, but I mean, I have 3 ways to stabilize. Now while I'm shooting, the lens itself has image stabilization, the body obviously IBIS, as well as the gimbal. So if something is still shaky, I think I messed up. Let's hope that doesn't happen, and worst case scenarios, I still have to use warp stabilizer, which I'm trying to avoid, because most of the time if you're actually moving very quickly and the surroundings are changing, well, the result is not exactly that good. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes look, and I'll see you next time. Bye.